I'm here with Staff Sergeant Vollmer, who is a multiple combat veteran, drill sergeant, and member of the Army Reserve shooting team. Staff Sergeant Vollmer, give me a rundown as far as the units you deployed with overseas.
Thank you, John. I spent 15 months in Afghanistan in the northeastern Kunar and Nurstan provinces with the 173rd Airborne Brigade. That was in 2007, 2008. I left the active Army and joined the U.S. Army Reserves. Immediately went to drill sergeant school. I've spent the last 6 years serving as my company's senior drill sergeant.
Okay.
This is my second year shooting with the Army Reserve's International Combat Team. As far as training before coming onto the shooting team, I attended U.S. Army Sniper School in 2007. I attended a squad-designated marksmanship course, and then I also instructed a long-range marksmanship course throughout U.S. Army Europe for a year.
Okay, excellent. So you have a very broad combat experience, very broad military training experience, and now you've been shooting quite well with our competitive team. Based on your multiple training experiences with the military and then your combat experience, how do you feel the competitive events benefit training or benefit soldiers?
I hear that argument all the time that competitive training will breed bad habits in combat, and I would disagree with that statement. I think we're out here, we're exposed to the elements all day, we're shooting at different realistic targets at different ranges. We're doing snaps, movers, running, and then you need to take in all the factors that affect the trajectory of the round. We're accounting for environmental factors like wind, humidity, distance, the physical factors, like I said, the heat. Are you properly hydrated? I think if units across the force trained to, the high level of exertion that these competitions are, we would be far better marksmen across the board when it comes to combat.
Okay. Now, as far as the training that you underwent to go through sniper school, your combat deployments and all that, what are some of the similarities, some of the differences from what you did to prepare and pass those courses and prepare for those deployments versus your preparation and training for competitive events?
Okay, so sniper school, aside from the field craft, which is pretty strenuous, a majority of the shooting, aside from alternate positions, but a majority of the shooting is laying down on your belly behind a precision rifle and shooting pretty little groups at stationary targets. And there is some movers and night fires as well, which is excellent training. As far as, combat rifle or carbine training I did before deploying, as a platoon sergeant, and we would put up an EIC target or an old M9 qual target and do ready ups, and our platoon sergeant or squad leaders would run us through that. Aside from that, most of it was just your standard 300-meter Army pop-up qualification.
Okay, so in terms of your, as far as the value or the difficulty of the training, what do you think the comparison would be?
I would say this is light years better training than what we were doing to prepare to go to combat, which is unfortunate to say, but this is far more difficult and far more thorough. The problem, as you know, with the Army 300-meter pop-up is you don't know where on the target you're hitting.
Right.
So you could be an expert, but you're shooting the guy in the shoulder every time you shoot. So the nice thing about this, and sniper school as well, is that you've got the feedback, all right? Immediate feedback. You shoot, you see exactly where that round is, you analyze the shot, think about what you did right or wrong, think about which factors were or were not affecting that shot. So I think that would be really important for the force, is to get feedback on their shooting, instead of just hitting.
Now, based on your experiences doing all this now, is there any downsides that you're seeing with the competitive experience?
I think the only way to make this better training for combat is if people were shooting back at us.
Okay. So other than killing a few of us, I guess that would be about as good as we're going to get. So thank you very much.
Yes, sir.